Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Mark Fishkin, and as the founder and executive director of the California Film Institute, it is my great pleasure to welcome you to DocLands 2019. Thank you for coming. And this is an extraordinary night because it is opening night, and we have an amazing film for you, a world premiere of the film Runner, directed by Bill Gallagher. Bill is here this evening, of course, for his world premiere, and a very special guest as well. But before he's brought up to the stage, I'd just like to say a few words. I've noticed through the years that any great collection of films is tied together by a common thread. I would call it a unifying force, that where the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. What you're going to see tonight is the start of a great collection of films. Creative films with a strong point of view, films that will stimulate your mind and they will nurture your spirit. This is DocLands 2019. Recently, we had the 20th anniversary of the Smith-Raffel Film Center, one of the great programs of the California Film Institute. And also just a little while ago, it was the 40th anniversary of the Mill Valley Film Festival. That gives, you're welcome to applaud. We never get enough of it. That gives us pause to kind of reflect on the role that documentaries have had for the California Film Institute, and I think in a way have brought us here tonight. Literally the first two Mill Valley Film Festivals, which were really teeny, smaller than Docklands when it started a while ago. And I think there were 44 in those first 2 years of short documentaries, and many of them from the Bay Area, because this is a great community for documentaries and film in general. Because of this great selection, because of a lot of people, we have this great selection of films, and I would be remiss if I didn't thank some of them. I cannot thank everybody in the time allotted, but I would like to thank our signature sponsors. I'd like to thank, I'm going to read a little bit because I don't want to miss anybody, but Nancy and Richard Robbins Family Foundation, of course, Project 9, Genuine Article, and Vicky Soulier. In addition, we have an opening night sponsor, and this particular person is a very special person to the California Film Institute. She was a volunteer in the office for many years, and then she became a member of our board of directors, and I'm happy to say that she is our current president of the board, but she is also the sponsor of opening night. Please welcome the incredible and lovely Jennifer McCready.
Good evening. I have always had a passion for Africa. I was born in North Africa. My mother, my sister, and myself were evacuated to South Africa after the Italian fascists invaded Egypt. I lived there for 3 years. I was a baby when I went, and I was nannied by 3 beautiful Zulu women. And then we went back to England, and I have, since the decease of my husband, I have traveled all over Africa and love it. I did not, needless to say, go to the Sudan, but I'm very, very excited to be sponsoring this film tonight with Guor and Bill, the director, who you will see shortly. I hope you all will enjoy the rest of the Docklands. There's some extraordinary films. I particularly love Docklands because I learn something every season. And now, I'd like to introduce...
Are you going to do the introduction for Joni Cooper?
Joni Cooper, who's responsible for a lot of this. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I would be remiss if I didn't mention that Joni, of course, is the Director of Programming, and to thank her and an incredible staff, not just the programming department, but certainly that is a key to it, but the operations and the whole staff for putting this event together. And I'll let Joni take care of it.
Thanks, Mark. I did want to give a shout out to my colleagues here at CFI, because I cannot thank them enough for their enthusiasm and support for Docklands, because they have really grabbed onto it, and I'm just so grateful because it has really, really done well. We're amazed to see how much it's grown in just 2 years. This is the third year, so it's pretty amazing. And thank you all for coming and for supporting Docklands. I get more and more excited about what we're doing here and what we're accomplishing with Docklands, especially here in the Bay Area, as Mark said, with the numbers of prolific documentary filmmakers who are recognized all over the world. And so I feel very lucky to be amongst these people here who have also just embraced Docklands. So appreciate it. I just wanted to say one reason why I like documentaries is because I find them usually extremely unpredictable. And one thing that enamors me to a film is the unpredictability. I love that. It wins me over. And let's face it, more often than not, real life is more surprising than fiction. The stories we get are incredible. And there's nothing like discovering so many incredible facts. And you may know a little bit about a story, but to find out the backstory and how it all comes together, to me, is just one of the most enjoyable things in the world. Even if it is bad news, it's good to know what we're getting into. So I think along with the film tonight and throughout the weekend, you might discover more facts that will surprise, infuriate, enlighten, and even enchant. And as I think Mark mentioned this too, for me, everything I know I've learned through documentaries. So it's saying a lot. I've seen a lot of documentaries. Before we turn to the film, the one that Bill Gallagher, the director, just finished the sound mix on 2 short days ago, I'd like to invite him up to the stage. And Renner is Bill's first feature film as a director. He was also the line producer for the Oscar-nominated film If a Tree Falls. He's now based in Madrid, but we're delighted that he made his way to Marin for his world premiere. Thank you, Bill.
Hey everyone, I just want to thank you all for coming. It means a lot to us. Thank to Docklands and Joni and Mark especially. And we just finished 2 days ago. So I hope you like the film, and we'll see you after the film.
Yeah, stick around. We've got Bill's coming back, and we'll have a very special guest. Enjoy. Wow. Bill, do you want to come back? Well done. Well done.
So I'd like to announce Guor Mading Maker. Come on up.
Come on up, Guor. What a journey. What a journey, and we're so glad you were able to make it all the way here to Marin.
It's my pleasure to be here, and thank you to all of you and for the hospitality. It's amazing.
Oh, we're so happy to have you here. Well, that was a long journey in terms of making the film too, wasn't it, Bill?
It was, yes, almost 7 years.
6 or 7 years. You went through a lot of changes in those years.
Yes, I grew up, and here I am now.
We thought it was going to be
Yeah.
a short film when we first started this.
Yeah.
Honest to God, we thought 25 minutes, we'll go to London and we'll go home to South Sudan and that'll be a great film, great short film.
Yeah.
But here we are 6, 7 years later.
Well done. How did you discover Guor's story in the first place? Was it
I read it.
Read
I
it.
read it online,
Yeah.
and I read the story of this man who qualified for the Olympics, and he said no to the country. So he was offered a spot, as you saw in the film, and he said no. I said, well, what kind of guy does this? Most people would give their kidney to run in the Olympics. I said, I got to talk to this guy. So I think within a few minutes, I was talking to the Iowa State Athletic Department, and I feel like within that day, I talked to you, and you were just as charming on the phone as you are all the time. And I said, man, this is a great character. It has a great narrative arc of trying to qualify for the Olympics in terms of story. And it was a hero's journey. I was like, this is special. So here we are.
And so what did you think when he first got in touch with you? Were you on board right away, or did it?
I thought he was another person who wanted to cause me trouble. Yeah.
To be fair, I did cause you some trouble.
No, here we are. But it's a great thank you. It goes a long way. I would not have been here without a lot of people supporting me. Yes, it was a long journey, but I could not have done it without a lot of support. The community I came in, and I've been in Concord, New Hampshire, as you saw on the screen. It was amazing. And those people are the people I look back every single day and thank you them every move I do, because I would not have done without them. I would not have actually discovered something called running without them, and all along the way. So every person I touch along the way and I met, it had something, add something to my success. And now here we are. So
You already knew running, but for a totally different purpose.
yes, and it does a lot. There's a lot of people. We have one very special individual here with us tonight, and this person is a person I would like to thank you also. And if you don't mind, I can call him in the front here, and his name is Brad Poor. Brad, please, can you come up here? Please come on. Thank you. Brad, he's a lawyer. He's a local here in California. And Brad Poor was, as you have seen him on the screen, Brad Poor was actually a person, one of those people, special people. I thank you, and Bill himself. Those are the people who carry my journey to the Olympic success. Even today, I still thank Brad a lot for being a person as a wingman on my side at the time of difficulty when I was trying to fight to go to the Olympics. And he was a person you guys saw. We were only a small team at the Olympics. So Brad, in front of all this audience, thank you so much. I cannot. Yes. The South Sudan, thank you a lot. And my mom, my parents, thank you. Even you never met them, but they saw your picture. And so is Bill as well. Pretty much my host family, my uncles in New Hampshire, everyone pretty much knew a lot. These two guys, they did a lot. The Federation knows them really well because they were fighting to the nail to help, to show the world that there is a potential and there is someone you can help. And if you elevate someone, it can turn into something. So once again, thank you a lot and for being there. And we are still a team, huh? Don't forget it. All right, thank you. Thank you.
While we're thanking people, there's a lot of people in the audience that worked on the film. Michael Pickman-Thune, Roger Krakow, yes. Let's see, Jacob Bloomfield Misrak, Kim Christensen, and the great editor, Eric Daniel Metzger. Thank you guys so much for making this film better. And my mom's in the audience too, so thanks, Mom. And Guor, lastly, I just, thank you for trusting us to tell your story. I know it wasn't easy, and it's not always easy to see yourself on the big screen, but I thank you for that.
You're welcome. Yeah. Thank you to all of you. It was not easy, but at the end of the day, as you might see, as you saw, if I took it as something was easy, then I would took a different route. But I kind of, right after Olympics, I came back, and Brad was with me at the time. He was advising me the direction, okay. And even when actually Bill sent a small camera, sent it to Brad Poor. And Brad said, hey, Guor, that this guy wanted to do a documentary about you. And I was kind of like, what? Documentary about what? Man, I don't want to deal with all of this. Just, so he sent me a small camera. He said, you can just do everything. I had no clue what I was. And he said, every time you do a move, you can take a video. And I was kind of like, man. Then I went and read about Bill. I read about what is documentary and all of that. So I had to do my homework. And then we made it to the Olympics, we came back, and from there, I was kind of, okay, well, it's okay. I let him do it, and here we are.
Documentary by fire.
Yep, and he's always, Guor, I need to do this interview. I say, man, come on, we're doing this. But they really, without these two guys, I don't know.
You'd be fine, Guor.
It would not be this.
You'd be fine.
Yes, but
let's be honest.
Yes, I did my best, but there is always something. You cannot do anything by yourself. And I definitely believe in that. Yes, that is courage, determination come down to the individual, but at the same time too, there are always people around you who believe in you and trust in you. You saw my high schools. I didn't know running. What was running? I could run to skip, and that's it. But to be able to do it as a sport and give me academic opportunity and show me the world, I think that's something special.
Great.
Yeah.
Do we have any questions in the audience? There's one right there. Do we have a mic out there? Yep, we do, right there.
Beautiful movie, thank you. I'm curious in the time that you left, the time between the time you left Sudan and when you went back, how much contact did you have with your family?
Very little. Thank you for the question. There's very, very little context because I left in 1993, and along the way with captured twice and then all of that, and made my way to northern Sudan, where my uncle and his wife were residing in it's kind of like an isolated area where the southern Sudanese were being isolated there. So I spent that time along the way, and then we flee to Cairo, Egypt. Spent 2 years there, all the way until probably the time I started. On all of that time, I was not in communication with them, so they didn't know whether I was still alive, nor I knew that they were still alive. By around 2002, 2003, that's when I would say almost 2002. And then that's when I start finding a connection with people. And I think that's the time when the social media start coming out. And that's when they went and found me. It was along the connection, cousins and all of that, people, a friend on Facebook, they went and know, and then we just kind of find each other on the last name and all of that in the picture. And that's when I ended up connecting with my brother. And we start talking, and it's kind of like we couldn't believe. It kind of, hey, Sarah says alive, are you alive, and all of that. And so since 1993 to roughly almost 2002. So that was the time it took. And then from there, there was, because there was no network, so communication was difficult. And the communication did not get flow until, and then it caught off because I wasn't busy with a sport, and the place they were staying, it was a very remote area. That's not even a network or phone. And then 2013 when I went back, and then came back, and I would say roughly 2 years now, that's when the communication now is flowing. So I talk to them now once a month or so. Yeah.
Great, great.
Thank you again.
There's another question right
Yes,
in the
ma'am.
middle there, Derek.
Thank you so much for this beautiful film. Thank you both.
We've got a mic coming there. Thank you.
I was in southern Sudan in 2009, and it's heavy.
Yes.
It's heavy. You can feel it in the air, the
Yeah.
heaviness. And what are you able to do now in terms of your work? Like, are you able to work with UNICEF or the UN or anything to work on the relations there?
At the moment, I'm not involved. At the moment, just try to focus in my training and the job I have at the moment. But on the side, I'm trying to continue channeling on the sports side. There are a couple of agencies approached me back in 2014 or so, and then that's after I worked with UNHCR. But that's just something I did not have enough time to be able to put that time in. But that was something I thought about it. It's kind of like this would be a good opportunity to actually increase my influence in the region, and since they already on the ground doing a lot of phenomenal work, which is very thankful for all those organizations. That's the reason I'm here, actually, because through those organizations. But I did not. Right now, I'm working full time and training, and with my beautiful wife. So we starting new life. But I'm still an eye on the mission that I started it to try to help to bring the sport into South Sudan, and also my region where I was born, as you saw on the screen. Those are the project I'm right now working into.
And I get the feeling that this is not the last we see of Guor. I mean, we're gonna hear about him, I think, in the future of being a positive influence for South Sudan in the future. I have a feeling.
Fair enough. Any other questions?
That's one in the back there. That
One
two.
back there, right?
First question, did you ever think about doing some other kind of running other than marathon running?
A lot of people. That's a good question. A lot of people always ask me, "Hey, can you do 50K? Can you do 100 ultra marathon, mountains, trail run?" So I'm like, man, that's too long. I won't be able to do it. Yes, I have thought about it, and some people approached me. Actually, wanted to see if I can do those kind of events, but maybe down the road.
Another
Yes.
question, I noticed-
2020, that's something. After 2020 Olympics, hopefully, I will be able to do those activities.
I noticed that when you went back to your village and you put together your team for the Olympics, people were speaking English to each other. And when did that change?
The South Sudan is, when it's changed to speak English, or?
Yes, to speak English.
Oh, well, after South Sudan got independent, which is July 2011, South Sudan decided that the national language to to pretty much help us understand each other, because we are about 64 tribes, and there are sub-tribes. So there's like 100 and something, 106 multiple ethnic groups, and each of them have a different language. And to come to the way to allow people to communicate in the market, in the government level, and all of the business levels, is to adapt a foreign language to help us, because no tribe would want to force their language to speak. Like the true majority of tribe in South Sudan, which is Dinka Nuer. And those tribes, it would not be fair to choose one of their language there to make it as a national language. So they come to understanding that the only way we're going to do it is, first, when South Sudan was one, we used to speak Arabic, which is a language I learned after my mother tongue. But then after the country got independent, the South Sudan adopt English. And that's how people start to speak English. So when I went back and I was talking to youth, it was either we speak Arabic, which I was kind of rusty on it, or English. So that's how it started. So after the country got independent, the country moved into English. Right now, everything, education, schools, and everything pretty much is English. Market, they still speak Arabic and some dialects.
And finally, I just want to say I'm glad you finally found time to date.
My wife was not. It was a long route too. So yeah, it's not easy to be focused on running and also wanted to add someone into your life. But she was phenomenal. She supported me a lot, and she was able to understand my situation. She came from Kenya actually, so. And that's a good thing, neighbor country. So she understands the life I came through from. So I'm glad to have her.
And a talented runner in her own right.
Yeah, she's a runner too. So maybe down the road we'll do something. Yeah.
Yes, there's a question right down here. There's a mic just coming right behind you there. Thank you.
You're such a unifying force. I'm just wondering if you have any aspirations for politics.
I don't know. It's a something. You know, we always have some knot in our mind that how things are going. But it's just something maybe down the road I will think about it. But at the moment, just trying to. I do believe that sport has a power to bring people with different minds, different beliefs together. Sport is like a film. When we come to the movie theater, we come with a different mindset, different people individually. But by the time, to watch common thing, one thing. By the time we leave the movie theater, we pretty much have something in common. Politics, you don't do that. It divides people. It depends on how you look at it. And it tends to put people on either this side or that side, nothing in between. But sport is unified people, and that's how I see it. A country like South Sudan or any other country that has been torn apart like South Sudan, the only way to bring youth together and become one and have a one belief is through sport. And that was the reason I was able to pursue that opportunity, and that's the thing I would like to look. Maybe down the road, some people say you can be a politician, but it's down the road. And the concern of the people that whatever in the U.S. here or in South Sudan, it's going to depend on the concern and what I believe how things should be going. And then maybe if it has something is going to lead me to politics, then I would not shy away from it.
And maybe we could use that unifying factor around here.
Yes.
Here's a question.
I'm actually going to be, at this time, I'm in the U.S. Air Force right now, serving the United States Air Force. And, in 2020, I will not be going as a South Sudan, representing South Sudan. I will be running for the United States. And Thank you. There is a reason behind that. When I came from South Sudan, as you saw, I didn't know English. I didn't know where I was going. I came to a community. I came with empty hands with my uncle's family. They receive us. They show us a way. They give us all the opportunity. I discovered my talent through them, and I did all of that. The mission is I have to do something for the South Sudan. This community I land in gave me such great opportunity, and this opportunity cannot die in me. I have to deliver it to the people, to elevate the people who did not get opportunity. I did that with the help of Bill, Brad Poor, and the community, all people around, like you guys here giving us sponsored screen opportunity, all of that. And after London, after Rio, I came to conclusion that United States is my home, and that these are the people who show me the route and show me everything I have right now. And to do that, I would have to do something to not just thank individual, but to thank the entire country for what they have done to us as refugees, and all of us who have unfortunate opportunity to come to the United States. And I decided that I'm going to join the United States Air Force to thank the people who supported me and the country who gave me opportunity. And that the reason I did it. And that's the reason I did it. And now, to do that, there is a rules, regulation to serve in the military. You have to pledge allegiance to one country. It's not just a regular citizen. You work for the country and you work for the government. So to do that, I would not able to go and try to represent South Sudan while I'm in the United States Air Force. So I decided that since I still have opportunity and still feel like I can run, let me go and do it and try for the 2020. If I don't make it, I'll pursue my time in the United States Air Force, and then from there, continue my project in South Sudan, because that project is not going anywhere in my mind. Yeah.
I think it's just remarkable how someone could come from the fear and the horror of your young years to overcome all that, to actually go on to do something so great. And I just, if you don't mind my asking, I just wondered how have you dealt with that? How have you been able to leave that behind and transcend such difficulties in your years as a young child and not take it into your adulthood?
It's a good question. It has not been easy. It has not been easy, and it's keep coming back. Even I'm sitting here, it's kind of like seeing this movie is kind of just put me back to where I started it. But it's something you just have to take it. You just have to look at the situation and see, is this situation is going to allow me to fail what I want to accomplish? Is this situation is going to define my future, or is it going to define my path? And if you let your past define you, then you don't have a future, and you cannot fix yourself. And that's what has been my motivation to try to look. I cannot let the past dictate what I wanted to do. If I can get opportunity from people who can provide opportunity to me, then I have to make it happen. I cannot blame anyone. I cannot blame the war. I cannot blame, yes, it's not me. It's not me alone went through all of this. Refugees, Middle East, Africa, across Africa, even in Mexico around here, people are suffering. So my suffer is also just like their suffer in a different context. And if I don't fix that, if I not work hard for it, then I will keep going back to the same suffer. My kid will keep going back to the same suffer. The people around me will go back to the same suffer. But if I can thrive to overcome, then I think I can be somebody, and the person after me can be somebody. And that is what has been driving me the most. And what my dad told me when I was a kid is that never, even if you fall down, never let, even someone did something to you, never blame that person. Try to take that and correct yourself. You the first primary person to fail yourself. It's not other person will fail you. And that has been in my mind for a very long time. So that has been, those kind of principle or wisdom has been carrying me along the way. You're welcome.
Lovely answer. There's a question right smack in the middle of the auditorium. There's a mic coming across to you now.
Brother, coming from Africa and watching the documentary has touched my heart. And I wanted to find out if ever this will lay a foundation for you to go back to Africa in your mind, in your effort, to try and put all Africa corruption, whatever is going on there, and then bring it together through sport, like what you're doing. And coming from Zimbabwe myself, we have the same and similar situations, but I'm very thankful of the effort and the whole, everything you have gone through. I feel it, I know it, and I understand that, but I would like to applaud you for what you have done and what you are doing and where you are heading. Is there any chance in your mind, in your future, where you are putting a foundation where you may put Africa together through sport and trying to make it one thing where people can see the goodness of togetherness and the badness of being pompous and corrupt?
Thank you, brother. I actually have my training partner. You might have seen him in Gold Coast, Australia. There was a person running next to me. He's actually from Zimbabwe. We're working together right now. We're thinking about those kind of situations, those kind of circumstances. Because I do believe that Africa is not going to be fixed by anyone except those of us who have opportunity. Like you and me, anyone, any African who can. You don't have to go back to Africa. You don't have to go back to the community, because the community you are in is your community and they need you as well. They need your influence. They need you to be a part. Like you and me right now, we're in the United States here. This is our community. Our kids are not going to know where we came from. So if we don't create this community as part of us and us being part of them, then also we're missing something. We fail as well. So we also, it doesn't matter where we live in, we fix that community, but we're also going to have to fix something in wherever we came from. We the one going to fix Africa. The problem, the mistake we always talk is blaming what is going on over there. And in a country, there's never been a nation in this country without a war. Even the United States has been in, I would say, correct me if I'm wrong, 30 years, is that right? Or something like that. Some really long war, transition for the United States to become here. But the United States, they took responsibility for themselves and become the country they are right now. So I do believe that us going back to doing something as a collective, as Africans, we're the one going to elevate the country. And to do that, we have to just come up with a method, a mechanism that can bring people together. The corruption is going to go away. It will not go away. It might not go away in our lifetime, but it will go away in one day. But it's my vision that to do something in South Sudan, and hopefully it will reflect to across Africa.
Wow. Well said.
Hi. My question is for Bill. I think this documentary is such a powerful and touching and inspirational film. And for several reasons, I've been extremely touched by it tonight. My question for you is, how do you see this moving on? Do you have a schedule of places where this might go? I have a daughter that's involved with a nonprofit foundation in Zimbabwe. She's in New York tonight, and a Akashinga Ranger is getting a Disruptive Award tomorrow night at Tribeca. Wow. And watching you and what your story and the way you did it, I want to know where you see or how you were going to get this disseminated, because it's so touching.
Thank you very much for your kind words. Yeah, so we just finished a couple days ago. So the path is still sort of unknown. We hope it has a healthy film festival life. We hope we get distribution. But also, I had this image in my mind when we started, and that was to take this around to refugee camps and translate it to various languages. There are NGOs that do that sort of thing. They come in and they have blow-up big screens. So that's one of the things that I would love to do with this film, is to take this around to refugee camps. But you know, the journey starts, I guess, tonight, and we'll see where it goes. Yeah.
Great. Was this the first time seeing it, Guor, for you tonight?
Yes. Yes,
That's
it's the first
what I
time I
thought.
saw the final. Yeah, yeah. I've been trying to kind of let Bill do his thing, and don't want to distract him. And hey, Bill, can you send me clips now? Yeah.
No.
So I trusted him, and here we are right now.
Yeah.
So you did a phenomenal job. Thank you.
Yes. Oh, I thought you had one more question. There, we've got one.
Yes, I agree with Guor's response that I don't want. Can you hear me?
We're
I agree
recording.
with Guor's comment about politicians, because politicians have to compromise themselves so much. I mean, look at Jimmy Carter and Obama, what they're going to do out of being in office. They're much more effective. Sorry, this is difficult. And this hasn't been going on, you know, for just 30 years. In 1974, the Eritrean separatists were going up to Cairo via Italy and coming back and recuperating, and then shuttling back into Eritrea to fight again. And it's not unusual that this Somali would be an Uber driver, because any parking lot you go to, those beautiful people who are checking you in and out are Somalis for the most part. Sorry.
Great.
Thank you.
Yeah, I have a question. Well, I have a comment about the film, the technique, the animation was so effective. I think it's more powerful than even having the footage. And I wonder how you came to that. And there's also a Netflix, I think it's Netflix or Amazon, I forget the name of it, Black Blood Rising with John Goffman. That's very effective too. How did you come to that?
I'm sorry, did you say Cam
The
Nation?
animation?
Oh, animation, sorry.
Yeah.
Thank you. It is, I think it's beautiful. The guys who did it, Visitor Studio, it took a year and a half to find them. I tried everything I could find to get the right look, because it's a very specific look I had in mind. I haven't seen animation in documentary that I've liked too much. Sometimes it's too cartoony, sometimes it's too other things. But I finally found these guys one's in London, one's in Australia, and they did a phenomenal job, and they, you know, I think it really lifted up the film. So we were able to experience and see Guor's past, because you really kind of need to see it. And so, yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was very effective.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That was very effective.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thank you very much. How did he get the cinema verite look with his reunition
It was a local.
with his mother?
It was a local cinematographer Jacob, who traveled with Guor to the village, and he really was able to communicate well with, Guor's mom and dad, and had a big trust with the community. And I think he just did a fantastic job with, staying enough away to not intrude, but at some point, the emotions of 20 years of not seeing somebody, your mom and dad, take over, and you don't even think about the camera.
One last comment.
Quick comment, and we'll...
Thank you. Yeah, because at the time, at the time I was powerless, and the only way is to just pretty much end it there, because the person was a strong guy. He's a military guy. There's nothing I could have done for him, but I just feel that the situation, like I mentioned on film, that at the time I was just thinking what my parents have done to me, and why I would end up that way without fulfilling that I can be the person my dad wanted me to be. You see that? So, but I didn't have a thinking of that, okay, there is opportunity, you can escape. So when I got that opportunity, that was it. I took it very seriously, and I got out there.
Thank God
Great.
you did.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone, for coming
Thank you.
tonight. Hopefully, you'll get to see lots of documentaries throughout the weekend. So we'll see you around. See you at the movies.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.